Greetings and salutations. How you doing? Thanks for clicking on the video. We're going to just do a little quick update and want to show you guys some of the more recent audio toys that I have picked up, some of which I have done videos about and others I have not done yet. This is the newest thing here. This is a realistic ST46 stereo receiver dating from 1974, and I bought this off of eBay, and it's a store called TGHomAudio. The guy who runs it does a great job of rebuilding and reselling all sorts of audio gear, and I saw this and I just could not resist. It's 45 watts per channel, awesome sounding receiver, and I will run through the controls very quickly. This is your input selector right here, and you have auxiliary, phono, and we have FM radio here and AM radio. This is a wide band AM radio. It sounds great. You get these nifty signal strength and tuning meters here, and of course the stereo light comes on when you're tuning in stereo FM. And like I said, we have phono and an auxiliary input. These switches are, there's your tape monitor. This is how you listen to the tape deck and loop like an equalizer or something through the amp. And then we have the loudness off switch. The standard place to put it is on. This is a mono stereo switch that not only works on the FM radio, but it also works on all of the other inputs as well. Very nice for listening to records that were recorded before the advent of stereo. And these are your speaker switches. Speakers A on, and of course I don't have anything hooked to B right now, so it's off. Bass, treble, balance, volume, headphone jack, tuning knob. About as simple as it gets. And sitting up there, I don't know how well you can see it here, but there's a Technics equalizer which was hooked up to my last receiver. It is not hooked up, it's just sitting there. I don't need it. This thing sounds absolutely amazingly incredible, and very happy that I took the gamble to buy something this old, because the quality that rolls out of it is great. I have the CD player and cassette combo hooked up down here. This is an SCT50, and this is an Optimus sold by Radio Shack unit, and this is from about 1991 or so, and I just like it because it's a good sounding CD player. It is a 4x oversampling dual DA converter in there, and it has digital filtering, which I ordinarily don't like, but this one just actually sounds better, and it sounds better than my TX CD player, so I'm running that. And if I should want to play back a cassette, there you go. I have a cassette deck hooked up as well. The turntable that I'm using right now is the Sony. This is a PS-LX55 II. Hold on, I wrote that down. Let me make sure I get this correct. Yes, it is an LX55 II. I did a video about this particular turntable, and right now the cartridge on it is an ATU 12E2 with a modern ATN 120E stylus. It fits nicely. And I was actually listening to a record before I decided to turn the video on here. And another thing that I really need to do a whole video on, and just let me know if you're interested in seeing me run through this. This is a Marantz Superscope tape recorder. And I know it's kind of dark in this corner. I apologize for the quality of the video. I'm using the cheapest camera that I have because it's the only one that still works. And this is a C206LP. Used to use these in radio stations many years ago. Always wanted one, and a friend of mine found some. He found two of them, asked me if I wanted one, and he restored them. And matter of fact, it's Clydesite. So many of you know the Clydesite channel. And one of these days I'm going to do a full video about this. Very interesting machine. Here's your record input volume. VU meter here. It's got a variable speed for playback. This is your tone control and volume. Battery check here. And then these controls over here, you can have a like a compressor, or you can have it where you have manual operation and use the record input control to set the levels, and there's just a limiter. The limiter setting is really nice. If you're recording something and you still want dynamics, and somebody suddenly gets loud, it'll kick in and make sure it doesn't overdrive the tape. And this is the speed selector here. This machine will run at 1 7/8, which is standard, and 15/16, and takes standard cassettes. And you can't use a chrome tape in here. Here's your inputs and outputs. They're all 1/8 inch jacks. And then on this side of the machine, we have the power cord input, and there's where you can turn on whether you have the speaker monitoring while you're recording, and the 6-volt DC input as well. So these are really groovy machines. They made versions of this that had like XLR inputs and phone jacks and stuff like that. They're monstrous little machines. They're actually much better at recording than playback. The Clydesite did a great job and restored this one completely. It's got new belts, and it has been basically torn apart, cleaned, and put back together. Did a great job for me. And actually, I've had this since January, just haven't had much chance to play with it. Got a tape counter here. Another thing that I intended to do a video about, never got around to doing it, is this, which is a stylus force gauge. And I got this, and then immediately started using the Sony P-mount turntable up here, where you don't have to measure stylus force at all, because the only thing you can change is between like 1 and 1.5 grams is the range, and they assume that you're using a 6-gram cartridge. And by the way, using the ATN 120E stylus on this means that you get a tracking force of 1.6 grams. I weighed the stylus using this before I tried it. I knew it would fit the body, but I didn't know whether the tracking force would be correct. 1.6 is perfectly okay for an ATN 120E. So there you go. That is the current setup. Been loving this receiver. It's awesome. The radio is fantastic. It has wideband AM on it. So we don't have a whole lot to listen to on AM here in the Hampton Roads area right now, but if I do happen to tune across something, it is nice to hear some high end in it, and it doesn't sound like it's telephone. And other than that, my fiance moved in not too long ago, and she has a daughter, and of course I have 2 kids, so we're just busy all the time, and there hasn't been a whole lot of time to be doing audio related vids on YouTube. So I've just been answering folks' comments and talking to folks through that, and pretty much that's it. Now, as things progress here and the school year goes on, maybe things will calm down a little bit. We'll start doing some more audio related videos, and just wanted to throw this up here, show you the current setup. And oh, by the way, I'm using Sony B3000 speakers here. I don't think I've done a video on this channel about these. I bought them a couple of years ago because I needed them real bad. They sound pretty good, except they don't have a lot of mid-range punch, and I found out why. Because Sony didn't bother really to put crossovers in these, and that's how they could sell them so cheap. And you know, you have a 3-way speaker system here, and essentially there is a capacitor that is hooked up between the woofer and these mid-range, the squawker and the tweeter here, and there's not really a crossover network. You can build one or buy a generic crossover and put it in, but the problem is getting the speakers apart. These surrounds here are just glued on, and the guy said that you have to be very careful. So I'm looking at some Pioneers right now, and when cash allows, we may be doing a speaker upgrade. Keep you posted on that, and should they come in. Pioneer's got some really awesome speakers out right now. Even the audiophiles are freaking out, and they cost about $250 at Best Buy, so might be looking into getting a pair of those in the not too distant future. That's about it for now. Thanks for watching the video. I'm going to be waving bye-bye for the moment. Keep your comments and suggestions coming in, and we'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks for watching.